Do you wish to leave money behind to maybe your kids or grandkids? By the way, everyone probably doesn't want to leave it to their kids. They just want to leave it to their grandkids, right? So if that's you, we're going to talk about how the recent rule changes in the past few years have changed this opportunity to give money to your kids in a more advantageous way. So we need to make sure we're planning now to make it more advantageous for us because they change the rules on us. And obviously when they change the rules on us, it's typically not in our favor. So we got to plan to beat them out. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So what we're specifically talking about here is non-spousal inherited IRAs. So if you have an IRA and you pass away and you leave it to your child, they're now going to have to pay taxes on this inherited IRA over 10 years. Now, the old rules is that they could stretch this over their lifetime. They could just take a little bit of out each and every year for as long as they lived, which wouldn't cause a huge increase to their tax brackets. But now if you have to take it out in 10 years, let's say you have $1 million, now they have to take out $100,000 each year over 10 years. Or if they procrastinate, they could take out $1 million in 1 year at the end if they forgot or didn't have any, the right type of planning or understanding of what to do there. And if that's the case, that's going to increase your tax bracket significantly and probably force them to pay way more in taxes than what they could have or than what you could have for them. So let's talk through this here. So this is going to be a big issue. The planning that we're talking about here is going to be important if your goal is to leave money to your kids. So if you don't care about leaving money to your kids or your grandkids or someone else that's a non-spouse, this isn't going to be as important for you. You can take a little nap. You can skip this video. You don't have to worry about it. But if you really want to leave significant wealth to your kids, then this is going to be important. It's also understanding that, hey, as I just mentioned, has to be taken out in 10 years. There's no more stretch IRA. So I just want to emphasize that point there. And the other point there is that, as I mentioned, it can lead to way more in taxes due. So in knowing these three facts summarized, what can we do to limit non-spousal inherited IRAs in the 10 years that are out there now? One strategy is what we refer to as Roth conversions. Roth conversions are going to allow you to pay the taxes now at your rates, which could be lower than your kids' rate over that 10-year period of time. And so we have to look at what are your rates today and what are their rates going to be in order to decide if that Roth conversion makes sense. If yours are going to be lower than theirs, probably makes sense to do a Roth conversion, plus any growth from that Roth conversion up front here is going to be tax-free. And so if you move it from an IRA to a Roth, for the kids, there's no tax due. They can take that money out on that 10th year, and they can not have to pay a dime of tax on any growth during those 10 years, and they can just get all of that tax-free in the future. That's actually a pro tip we would advise is make sure if they do have the Roth, don't have them take it out year 1. Make sure they know to take that out in year 10 so they can get all of that tax-free growth before they're required to take it out of the Roth because of that 10-year rule. And yes, understand you don't get to avoid the 10-year rule by using the Roth. You still have to take it out in 10 years. The advantage is there's no tax due on it for your child there. The second strategy that we would look at, and this is one that people don't think about, is change the beneficiaries of your IRA and your Roth. So let's say you have 2 kids, and let's say one is a very high income earner. Let's say they're a doctor. And let's say the other one may not make as much. Maybe they are a teacher and they don't make as much income. And if that's the case, we want to leave them the IRA. Obviously leave them more so that they can pay the taxes so they have an equal amount, because I'm sure that's your goal. But if you do that, let's say they're only at a 12% bracket, but the doctor's at a 35% bracket. Well, who would you rather pay the taxes on your IRA? The 35% person or the 12% person? So leave the IRAs to them, and then your Roths, move it to the high income earners so when they take it out, it's tax-free. This is a strategy that you can use for your kids, your children, whoever your non-spouse is who receives these assets, pay less in taxes. So that's something that we do. We'll have different beneficiaries on different accounts based on that situation. But make sure you start planning for that now, because you can't wait till you pass away to make that changes of who it goes to. You've got to have it in place now. Anything can happen at any time. So hopefully that's going to help you avoid the new rule that you have to take this out in 10 years, and you got to be proactive. You got to plan now.